One of the things a lot of people contemplate on when starting a garden is deciding whether to invest their money in buying seeds or seedlings or young plants that have already been cared for and nurtured by somebody else. In this video, I am going to share with you a few pointers that you may want to take into consideration when making this decision. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Weber Doa. I live in Ghana and I make videos of our backyard garden. The first thing you may want to take into consideration is cost. In our experience, we have come to realize that seeds are relatively way cheaper than seedlings. For instance, in Ghana, we buy about 6 seedlings for 10 Ghana cedis. This same amount can get you a pack of seeds. Now, recently we bought some seeds online, and some of these seeds were as low as $2, some came at $3. These seed packs contain close to 100, 150, 200, and some even contain 250 seeds. These are like a lot of seeds that you can use for like the entire year without having to stock up on seeds. So comparing the two options, if you are big on cost and you want to cut down your cost in setting up your garden, I would obviously advise that you buy seeds over seedlings. Another thing you may want to take into consideration is variety. Are you big on variety or you don't really mind? If you don't really mind, then I would say buy seedlings. You can always get something from your seedling supplier, irrespective of what it may be. So if you are, maybe you want to plant tomatoes and you go to your seedling supplier and they have a particular kind of tomatoes and you are okay with it, obviously you can just simply buy that and go and transplant them in your garden. However, if you're big on variety, you want to try new things, you want to explore certain things. In our case, we've been exploring. We want to try things, we want to try a lot of things in this space, and especially in this part of Ghana where a lot of things are presumed not to do well. We are exploring on so many things, so we try to get a variety of seeds to do that. When it comes to peppers, there are a whole variety of peppers. Same for tomatoes, same for kale, same for spinach. I never even knew we had several kinds of spinach until we started exploring. Then I saw a whole variety of them. So if you're big on variety, go for seeds. If you don't really mind, go for seedlings, because you will always find something to buy. The third thing you may want to consider, which I believe is one of the important, is time. You may have the resources to buy the seeds. You may have all the variety of seeds at your disposal. But if you do not have the time to nurture them and take care of them, please do not buy seeds. Don't do it. Nursing seeds, nurturing them, and grooming them to a stage where they are strong enough for you to transplant in your garden is literally like taking care of a baby. You need to have all the time to take care of them. You need to put them under the right conditions. You need to give them the right amount of water. You don't have to overwater and you don't have to underwater. You must provide shade for them. If at a stage they need a bit of sunlight, you must know how much sunlight to expose them to. When it comes to nursing seeds, it's not just putting seed in soil and then watering. Like, a whole lot comes to play. We didn't know this until we started gardening. It was when we started gardening and we decided to explore nursing, we realized that it is not for the faint-hearted. You can buy all the seeds, but if you don't have the time, don't do it. I feel it's much easier if you don't have time on your side to just buy seedlings. Go to the seedling supplier. They already have done all the work. They have nursed them under the right conditions. They have nurtured them. They have grown them to a stage where their roots are well developed and mature for you to transplant. So you simply have to go pick what you want, pick the quantity you want, bring it to your garden and plant. Sounds much easier and less stressful. Well, you may buy the seedlings and then unfortunately they all die. It wouldn't be as painful as you buying the seeds, planting them taking 7 to 10 days or more to germinate, nurturing them for another couple of weeks, and then they eventually die, or when you transplant them, they die. It will be much easier to just go and pick some few seedlings from someone, and when you come and they don't even die, it's better that way than to spend so much time, spend so much resources, and even sometimes acquiring these seeds can be difficult. For instance, when we were buying our seeds, we couldn't even buy the seeds online straight to Ghana, because some of these seed companies don't ship to certain parts of the world. They don't ship to Ghana. We had to buy the seeds, address it to someone who was in that country for the person to now ship it to us. So it's not really convenient when it comes to that option. So why go through all of that hassle, bring the seeds, and eventually you don't even have the time to take care of them as you should? the simplest option is to buy seedlings. So if you look at your schedule, do you have the time to take care of these young plants? Like I said, they are literally like babies. Too much water, you kill them. Too little water, you kill them. Too much sun, you kill them. Too little sun, you kill them. So if you don't have the time to be watching and paying attention to all these details, please abort buying seeds. Buy seedlings. It's the easiest option for someone who is very busy and doesn't have much time on their side. Now that brings me to the fourth point, which is skill. As I said earlier, nursing seed acquires certain skills. There was a time I was reading about how to nurse seeds properly, and I came across this information that you even need to check the temperature of the soil before you sow certain seeds. Like, you just don't fetch soil, put seed inside and pour water inside. You need to check the temperature of the soil. And I was like, what? I need to get a thermometer for this. So it's a whole science on its own. It's not just about putting seeds in soil. Recently, we were fortunate to learn a few tips about how to nurse seedlings from our seedling supplier. She was so generous enough to share certain tips with us. Nursing seeds is a whole science and a whole skill on its own. You just don't put seeds in the soil and water. There are certain things you need to take into consideration, especially when the seed germinates. After it germinates, there are certain ways you need to water the seedling. There are certain things you need to do for the seedling to grow bigger and also for the root system to develop well. All of these things, if you do not know them, you can't do the job. Like, you can't nurse the seed to that level that you want to get it to. So it's a whole skill altogether. You can read a lot on the internet. I personally read a lot on the internet, but we still weren't getting it right until she really, really was generous enough to help us out this time around. And obviously, our seedlings have done better. I have seen massive improvement in how our seedlings are turning out compared to a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago, once they germinate, before we say jack, they start turning yellow, they eventually die, some of them wilt. We could nurse a whole bunch of seeds, and at the end of the day, you get just like 2 or 3 of them that make it. The rest of them die. Nursing seeds is not just a theoretical thing, it's a practical skill one should have to be able to do the right job. Like I said, we have been doing this for a long time and we still haven't gotten there. We have only improved, and that's even just this year. This year that we improved. Hopefully, we'll get better at it, and eventually, we wouldn't even have to buy seedlings anymore. Another thing you may want to consider when deciding whether to buy seeds or seedlings is, do you have the space to nurse these seeds, and do you have the equipment to help you do so? For instance, there are certain seeds that you need to start indoors, probably in a cool, dark area inside your home. Do you have a corner or a small space that you can create inside your home for you to start nursing these seeds? And even if you don't, do you have the resources or the equipment to be able to set up a small area outside, probably like a mini greenhouse, where you can start nursing these seeds? All of these things are complex things that you need to consider and take into consideration when deciding whether to buy seeds or seedlings. When it comes to seedlings, the seedling grower will do all of that work. We'll set up their greenhouse. We'll buy the seed trays. We'll buy the heat mat. We'll buy the gloves. We'll buy the compost, the soil, the viable seeds. And some of them already know companies that they can get viable seeds from. So they're not going to gamble, buy seeds and not even know if they'll germinate or not. They already have been doing this for years. They are skilled. They have all the resources. They know where to buy them. They know how to get them. So it's easier for them to do all of this extra work. We have bought so many things for our seed growing journey. We bought seed trays. A lot of them are currently in a very bad shape because they are plastic. The weather, eventually they deteriorate. We've had to improvise with other ways of nursing our seeds. Sometimes a lot of them are in a very terrible shape. We can't use them anymore. We just work with our instincts. We don't know whether the temperature in the soil is the right time for us to sow. We just sow. We don't even check anything. And even there are ways to even check if your soil is safe enough for you to be able to plant seeds. It's not every soil that is good soil. We don't have all these equipments to do all of this. But when it comes to seedlings, the seedling supplier or grower has probably ways, they've devised ways of knowing the right things to do, the right equipments to use. Some of these people have these things at their disposal, so they are able to do this easily without having to break a leg. So do you have the space and do you have the tools to help you nurse your seeds? If you do have the space, you can by all means get some seeds and try nursing your own seeds. If you do not have the space and you do not have the equipment, you can buy some seedlings. And like I always say, you can buy seedlings and still buy some few seeds on the side improvise with other tools and equipment, start learning how to nurse your own seeds, and eventually you can be on seeds fully 100%. I hope this video helped you make that decision as to whether to invest your money in buying seeds or seedlings, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.